Hello, everybody. Welcome into another Utah Mammoth Daily. Tusk's up, and it's tough to keep them up right now. I understand it. But when the majority of your games come on the road to start a season, where Utah is right now is pretty darn good. They are sitting at 18 points, 9-7 overall. And before the season, before that winning streak happened, I'm pretty sure almost all of us would be quite pleased with how things have started. So let's kind of talk a little bit more about the game against Ottawa and a couple of things that I just want to discuss with you all. So first, the top line finally broke through in a meaningful way against Ottawa. Clayton Keller and Nick Schmaltz kind of did a, screw this, I'll do it myself moment for both of them. They just went and scored, which I think they need to do a little bit more often, especially Clayton Keller. Clayton Keller is too much of a team player. He really is. He's just too much of a team player. He's always looking for too much of the perfect pass to set up a teammate. Sometimes you just got to take it yourself. He has the skill, obviously. He scored a ton of goals in his career. He just needs to do it more, I think, instead of always looking for that perfect pass. So that's always been my one gripe with the captain here is just shoot more. I think the whole team needs to shoot more instead of trying to find the perfect pass. But if you're going to shoot more, you need more people in front of the net, which has been a problem for Utah for a long time now. Barrett Hayton tries, but he's undersized for it. And Dom Moore on the broadcast pointed out that other teams, and in this particular instance it was Ottawa, they had two guys in front of Vanacek during possessions. Two. Whereas Utah never even really ever has one. They're always skating around this motion offense, which looks really pretty on the screen, but it's not lending itself to a lot of goals right now. I'm not going to say, it's a stupid system and we need to change everything up entirely. Absolutely not. It's just maybe somebody needs to get in front of the net. Jack McBain does it as well, but other than that, Logan Cooley would rather score the goals than be the guy in front of the net, which is fine, but overall, just seeing that other teams just are parked in front of the net when they have possession in the offensive zone. And Utah it seems almost hectic when they're flinging the puck around the offensive zone, trying to find that perfect shot. That seems to be what's going on right now. But the top line breaks through. Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz both get goals. Hopefully that gets Keller going on a heater here. We already have seen what Nick Schmaltz can do once he's seen the back of the net. So buckle up for these home games coming up here. There's only 2 road games over the next month or so. So we've got 6, I believe, home games. I hope the Delta Center is going to be packed, loud, and backing up our boys because they need it. They need the extra juice after being on the road for so long. Now, there are worrying trends popping up, and this could have something to do with being on the road 24/7. It could be. Some of these numbers can come back down to earth, but when we look at it, Utah is number 1 in the league in shots against per game. Number 1. That's really good. Where they are falling very, very short, as you can see on the screen, 18th in goals allowed per game, and I'm not going to lay that completely at the feet of the goaltenders. Yes, in the past 2 games, the Killer Vs have let in some soft ones. They have. But they've also shown up huge when the defense allows grade A chances for the other team. So it's a mix and match situation here. It's not all the goaltender's fault. It's not all the defender's fault. It's a mix. And at the tail end of this road trip, there were just a bunch of airhead plays where they're just going through the motions and they're not really paying attention, whether that's a bad shift change like against Ottawa or passing it to a guy who's getting off the ice, and if he touches it, it's too many men on the ice, and then that allows an odd man rush to go the other way, like against Montreal. So just some airhead plays. I think them coming home, having a couple of days off, and then being able to play in front of, should we call the fan base the herd? I don't know. But playing in front of the fans at the Delta Center, I think I think that'll juice the boys up a little bit here. So there are worrying trends to be sure. It is things that can be coached up. It's not for a lack of talent. It's not for a lack of want. Although I did see a lot of people saying, oh, that just doesn't look like they're trying. Maybe a little, but long road trips. And then that disallowed goal against Jack McBain. Somebody, I don't know, look at the bank accounts of the video reviewers at the NHL league offices and see some things with those bank accounts. And maybe one or two of the officials on the ice, because there were some blatant penalties that were not called on Ottawa. They gave 2 very soft penalties against Utah, and they disallowed a goal that should not be disallowed. The goalkeeper was not interfered with in any way. In fact, he slid across his crease because he thought the puck went the other way when it was just sitting right there. Jack McBain was on his wallet, and he knocked it home. I don't know. So the officials were really bad in Ottawa, but you can't just blame the entire loss on that. The boys should have been able to have the mental fortitude to push past that disallowed goal. And instead of it still being 3-2, they allowed it to be 4-2. And that just was insurmountable because their mental was defeated. I did notice Nick Schmaltz's celebration was really loud. He wanted to get his guys going. I did notice that. So the veterans are trying to get the young guys goosed up a little bit here. But that right now, the young guys, Cool in the gang, are going through it. Over the last 5 games, they've only had, among the 3 of them, 3 goals and 2 assists. In most games on these past 5, they do not make any considerable impact at the moment. Dylan Guenther is really frustrated right now because he's just not getting any shots on goal. And he's attempting to do the dirty work of getting into the corner, dump and chase, doing all of that stuff, the simple hockey that has been being preached to them. And he's just not getting any shots. And he's not really even getting any shots on the power play anymore. He's been demoted from that top line. And you can see the frustration for him. JJ Peterka, that goal that he allowed against the Canadiens, he was left out on an island. He's not a defender. He's not even a defensive forward at all. So could he have done better? Absolutely. But should he have been in that position? Absolutely not. He was covering for a bad play from a teammate. So I don't blame Peterka on that one as much as everybody else has been seeming to do. And then Logan Cooley got bumped up to the first line because last season they had a lot of success when it was those 3, the Schmaltz, Keller, Cooley line. And he's looked more engaged. He's looked more energetic. But his frustration is coming through. You can see it. So the team is frustrated. They're just as frustrated as the fan base is. And so it's not like they've quit. It's not like they've given up. It's just puck luck and a mixture of being on the road a lot. Double the games on the road than at home is really rough to do in the manner that Utah has had to do it. I understand that other teams have had the same start to the season, but they've had more homestands sprinkled in. And by homestands, I mean 2 or 3 games at home in a row, or like a one-off road trip and then they're back home. Whereas Utah, it's huge road trips and then, we're at home for 1 game and then another huge road trip. So it's just different. It feels different for the Mammoth and for a young team. I think experiencing this sort of road trip and these trials and tribulations is a good thing as we get further into the season. Because not only will they be more acclimated to that style of the pro game, there's going to be more home games later in the season where other teams are then forced to do the road trips that Utah's had to do to start the season. So right now it stinks. I'm not going to say that everything is roses. It stinks. Right now we're getting the thorns. But I think that as the season goes along, we've got a lot to look forward to. But if, the fan base wants to look at potential fixes or answers, I think right now just sticking the course is the option. Maybe break up Dylan Guenther and JJ Peterka. But how do you do that? Can you realistically slide one of them down to the third line, break up that line that's been doing so well during this road trip, bump Lawson Krause up to number 2, and then knock down Dylan Guenther to the third line, I think that would crush his mental. I've seen that idea floated a lot. I think you just need to play through it. That's what you need to do. No need for rapid changes. No need for seismic shifts. I think the tweaks that Andre Tourigny is trying out are starting to generate a little bit more buzz around the team. Kevin Stenlund up to power play 1, Dylan Guenther down to power play 2, starting the power play 2 line on a power play situation over power play 1, trying to get some internal competition going. I like it. And then also sending a message to the veterans that your job's not safe just because you've played a long time. With Nick DeSimone coming in for Olli Mata, just sending the message saying, hey, if you're not going to play well, there are guys behind you that want to play. And, I mean, like, you're not going to replace Ian Cole. He's really making me eat my words from the offseason, and I really like that. He's number 1 in league block shots. He's assisting on a lot of goals. He's even scored a goal. So he's not going anywhere, but the other defenders need to watch out. So I like what Andre Tourigny's doing. We don't need a change in head coach. I almost said manager. But the seismic shifts that a lot of the fans are saying, we're not even 2 full weeks into November, guys. There's still almost an entire season left to be played. And Spicy Tuna, I love Tuna. Liam O'Brien, one of my favorite guys. I love him. He's not the answer. He's not. He's a high-energy, forechecking, bruising madman on the ice. And we kind of already have that. Turbo Tanev. So Brandon Tanev is a little bit faster than Liam O'Brien, and he has a little bit more offensive chops. Those haven't shown through yet, but that's kind of... It's the same player. So if Brandon Tanev needs a game off, Liam O'Brien slots in almost perfectly. But he's not the answer in starting him over a guy like Kyler Yamamoto or a guy like Michael Carcone. Michael Carcone has earned the right to be on that third line, as far as I'm concerned. He is on that third line. He's everything you want in a hockey player. He is the down and dirty guy who has just enough stick puck handling skill to slot home some goals and get some fancy assists. So the changes that need to be made are with these guys needing to just play through it. They just need to play through it, have the coaching staff and front office be patient, and then if this stuff continues, there will be more talk about changes coming. But the road trips have been brutal. They're coming to an end here for a little bit. At the end of this month, in November, is what everybody has been saying. If you're in playoff position come end of November, then you have a real shot. I think there's a stat out there, it's like 80% or something of teams that are in playoff position by American Thanksgiving remain there through the end of the season. And with a young team like the Mammoth, I think that is going to be true. They are going to be in playoff position come that time, and they're only going to be getting better. They're in a slump right now. It stinks. It really sucks to watch. If you were next to me watching these games, you'd hear me cursing the team out. But that's why I'm kind of grateful that I get a day to digest all of this, think about it clearly, and not as a fan, and then be able to help and try to talk you guys down off the cliff as well. So hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Tusks up.